Alright, so when I first unboxed the Watch 4 Plus, the first thing that came to my mind was the Oraimo Watch 2 Pro. I mean, both of them, they have very similar features. Like both of them have power buttons on the same sides. They have the same screens, like TFT screens. And even the microphone placements on the same side of the watch. Even after using the watch, I saw some similar features like the notification you get on the watch. You have to scroll down all the way to the bottom before you find the delete button, unlike other watches that have the delete button even while you are scrolling. And that is something I don't actually like about the Watch 2 Pro, which is something they brought to the Watch 4 Plus. I know I've already started talking bad things about the watch already, but there are good things about the watch. Now, even though they are similar, they are not actually the same. To me, the Watch 4 Plus is like an improved version of the Watch 2 Pro. Now, I believe that it's not a fair comparison because the Watch 2 Pro belongs to its own series, like the Pro series, and the Watch 4 Plus should belong to the Plus series. I haven't used a lot of Oraimo watches, so I'm just getting to know them as I buy them to review them. And yeah, this one comes with a lot of improvements compared to this Watch 2 Pro. And it's not like this one doesn't have its own issues. I'm going to talk about all the issues that I've found in the watch. So yeah, let's begin. Alright, let's talk about the design. You get the power button on the right side of the watch, which is the same or similar with the Watch 2 Pro. It's just that this one, the power button protrudes a bit, it comes out a bit, so you're going to feel it when you are maybe rubbing the watch. But on the Watch 2 Pro, it's just like a flat button, so sometimes it's even hard to press. You have to make sure you are very intentional when you press it. And yeah, on the bottom or at the back, you get the microphone, which is similar to the Watch 2 Pro. And you get these sensors for the heart rate and all those health stuff. Now, these sensors, they are very bright. They are the brightest that I've seen so far on any of the Oraimo watches that I've used. I normally don't look at the brightness of the sensors, but this one really caught my attention because as I just flipped the watch, right now it is not even blinking, but as I flipped the watch one day, it was so bright that I had to block it to see what I was doing. So okay, it is now blinking and holy crap, it is very bright. So anyways, you get the charging point at the back. On the left side, you get the speakers for your phone calls. Now, as you can see, there are lots of similarities between this one and the Watch 2 Pro in terms of design. But the only difference that I found at the back especially is that the power or the charging point is at the top for the Watch 2 Pro, while it is at the bottom for the Watch 4 Plus. And the Watch 2 Pro doesn't have like a glass covering the sensors for your heart rate and the rest. I'm not even sure if this is really glass or just plastic as well, but it looks like glass. So finally, we have a screen, and the screen is a 2.01 inch HD screen. Now, I'm not really sure why they called it a HD screen because HD is supposed to start from 720p. Now, this watch, let me just confirm the resolution. Yeah, the watch has a 240 by 282 resolution, which is not even close to 720, and HD is supposed to start from 720 to 1080, and the rest. HD means high definition. You can do more research on that, but it just means that the watch is supposed to be sharp, like the display, not the watch. The display of anything that is HD is supposed to be very sharp. And to be honest, this watch actually has a sharp display. The reason why I'm saying this is that if you compare the screen size, not even with the Watch 2 Pro, the Watch 3 Pro has the same resolution as this Watch 4 Plus. Honestly, I don't see a difference. I feel like this one is even sharper and more color accurate compared to the Watch 3 Pro. That is why I feel like, okay, HD is a good feature to include when you're trying to advertise the watch because it's actually quite nice in terms of display and the screen is bigger. So just imagine, like, if you're looking at a picture on your phone, when the picture is not zoomed in, then it's going to be very sharp. But when you start zooming in, then it starts to get blurry. But this watch is like a picture that has been zoomed in, but the display is still very sharp. So I don't think I'm going to complain about them calling it a HD screen, even though it is technically not a HD screen. It is a TFT screen, and yeah, it is quite large because of that 2.01 inch size. You know, after using this watch for a long time, it's becoming hard for me to go back to screens like watches that have smaller screens. So I don't know if bigger and bigger is the way to go. Anyways, besides that, using the watch is actually quite okay, like the screen of the watch. It is very responsive, but I've had occasional times when I accidentally tap things as I'm trying to scroll. And when it comes to using the watch outside in direct sunlight or under direct sunlight, yeah, you won't have any issues with it because it is very bright, although you have to manually increase the brightness if you set it at low brightness before you leave the house also, because Oraimo has not started implementing auto brightness yet. I think they should start looking into that. Like I mentioned, it's a TFT screen, so do not expect that always on display feature. That is for their AMOLED watches like the Watch ES2. So overall, it has a good screen, very nice colors, good brightness, responsive. And when it comes to the screen, I don't see anything wrong with it. It is big enough for you to carry out all the tasks you want to with the watch. Okay, so when it comes to functionality, this is where the watch is either for you or not for you. And with this watch, all I can say is that it is like most Oraimo wristwatches. It is good for making phone calls and receiving notifications. Now, I've used it to make phone calls and for receiving notifications, but I use it more for making phone calls. And from my experience, using it to make phone calls is very good. The speaker is very clear and loud enough. And yeah, you can only use it to make normal phone calls. You can't use it to make like WhatsApp phone calls, Zoom, all those kind of internet phone calls. They don't work with this watch yet. So I'm hoping soon, one day, Oraimo will start making watches like that you can even insert your SIM card and maybe install applications. You can't install applications on this watch. And I forgot to mention when I was talking about the design of this watch, it is also water and dust resistant. But I plan to make a video testing the watch, not this one, maybe with the Watch 2 Pro, because the Watch 2 Pro has a problem that so far Oraimo has not solved with the software update. So I'm going to be testing this watch. I believe it is also water and dust resistant. So I'm going to be testing it to see if it is actually water and dust resistant by dipping it in water. If you guys want to see that, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Anyways, yeah, this watch is also water and dust resistant. One thing I would say I don't like about using this watch for making phone calls is that while you're calling someone with the watch, you will not be able to increase or decrease the volume, like the volume for the speaker, so that when the person starts talking, you can hear them, or how loud it will be when the person starts talking. The watch waits for the person to answer the phone call before you can increase the volume. Now, I know that may not seem like a big deal, but to me, it actually is, because you may be busy, or I don't know, there's a situation where that will come in handy, but I don't like that the feature is not there. But one feature that I like is that you have that triple tap to make emergency phone calls. Like on the Oraimo app, you'll be able to specify a number that you want to use for emergency phone calls. So you just need to tap on the watch once to turn it on and triple tap, and it's going to do a countdown from 8. Or if you want, you can easily just press the green button and it will just start calling the person. And one of the good features, or one of the useful things I can think about this feature is that maybe you are driving in your car and you are heading home, so you want someone to come open the gate for you. You don't need to start looking through your phone to call the person. You can just triple tap and the phone will ring. You tell the person that, okay, I'm outside or I'm about to get home, so come open the gate for me. That's the only example I can think about, but I'm sure you can come up with more examples. As for receiving phone calls and getting notifications, the watch rings and it also vibrates. And personally, I don't like it when my devices ring, so I put all of them on vibration mode. And because of that, I really had to consider how good the vibration on this watch is. And to be honest, it is quite good. You even get 2 options for vibration. You have the standard option and the enhanced option, if I remember correctly. And for me, I went for the enhanced option because, after testing it, to me, it's better. I don't miss any kind of phone calls or notifications, even though I don't use the watch for notifications a lot. But for phone calls, I don't miss phone calls because the vibration is strong enough for me to notice that I have a phone call. But the other thing is that if I receive a phone call, the watch doesn't start vibrating immediately. The phone rings for like 2 or 3 seconds before the vibration starts on the watch. It has never made me miss a phone call in the past, and I don't think it ever will. But yeah, it's just something for you to know, so that if you're experiencing the same thing, if you get the watch, then just know that it is normal. One feature on all Oraimo wristwatches that I've always ignored is the feature that will help you find your phone or the watch if you're unable to find it. When I tested it on other Oraimo watches, the watches will just vibrate, and that's all. So to me, it was useless, because what if you're in another room looking for the watch and the watch is maybe under your bed vibrating? You hardly hear it. And like I said, my watches are always on vibration mode, my watches and my phone. They are always on vibration mode. But then with this watch, it is the only one that has rang ever since I got all the watches, like tested all the watches. So it makes the watch ring, and even my phone rings if I try to find it using the watch. Personally, I don't think I'll be using this feature a lot because I hardly lose track of my devices. But if you are someone that maybe misplaces their devices a lot, then I feel like this feature is going to be useful to you unless the Bluetooth disconnects, which is something that happens a lot. So I've been using this watch for like 5 days now, and each day I use the watch, the Bluetooth always disconnects. I like that the watch actually shows me a notification that the Bluetooth has disconnected. But when this happens, the watch starts behaving in a weird way. I made a video like covering everything that happens so you guys can see. So yeah, I'm going to play the video now so you can get to understand what I'm talking about. Alright, so as you can see over here, this symbol shows that the Bluetooth for the watch has disconnected from my phone. It is also the symbol that you see over here. Normally, if it was connected, I don't know if this is focusing well. Normally, if the watch was fully connected via Bluetooth, then this will be green, and this will be green also. So the strange part is that you can see on my phone that it says Oraimo Watch 4 Plus is connected via Bluetooth on my phone, but over here, it doesn't say the same. Now, this is something that I've noticed that occurs all the time when I'm using the watch. Every day I connect it to the watch stays connected for like maybe 1 hour or maybe 2 hours, and then the next thing, it just says that the watch has disconnected from the phone, and yeah, that's about it. But the strange part is that most of the Bluetooth features, they work. Now, the main Bluetooth features you get are making phone calls and receiving phone calls, and controlling music. If you are listening to music using your phone, you can use the watch to control the music. Like you can use it to skip to the next song, or you can use it to pause, you know, all those music stuff. So the only thing that doesn't work when this happens is controlling your music. Like right now, I have my music player on, and if I try to access the music, you see that it doesn't work. I'm pressing the play button, but it doesn't play. And if I go to like the menu and try to access music, you see that it says phone disconnected. But I can use the watch to make phone calls. So for now, I'm just going to like check my airtime. So you see that it works. So I just opened the dialer app, and I'll tap dial, and I'll enter the code for checking data or airtime. So I've entered the code, and I'll just tap the dial button. And you can see it is calling, and I just got the message on my phone, and this is the airtime I have left. It's even showing the data. So you can still use the watch to make phone calls or receive phone calls, even with this Bluetooth disconnection error over here. Like I said, this happens every time that I connect the watch with the phone. The watch will stay connected for like 1 or 2 hours, and then the next thing is just going to disconnect itself. And this will keep showing up to let you know that the watch is no longer connected to the phone. But you can still make all your phone calls and receive phone calls using the watch. Now, the only people that will find this annoying are people that constantly use the watch to control their music. You can't do that when this stuff happens. So I just showed you that. But the only way you can fix it is by going through the Oraimo app, and then you wait for it to connect. So now it has connected, and you can see that this one is now green. So green signifies that it is connected. And if you swipe down, you see that here is also green. You know, before it was red, now it is green. So yeah, this is just one of the weird things that I found with the watch. So yeah, that's just something I had to show you, and yeah, let the main video continue. Alright, so something I did not mention in that video is that when the Bluetooth successfully connects again, you can start using the watch to control your music. And talking about music, you can use this watch to actually listen to music. Now, you cannot use the watch to store your music files. You can only use it to play music that is playing on your phone. To me, it is a nice feature. I don't normally use it, but I feel like, okay, if you are someone that is considering getting an Oraimo watch that can maybe store music files, well, those ones are usually more expensive than this one. I'll talk about price later on. So maybe you can get this one for a start, see if it is something you use like the music player, see if you always like listening to music using the watch. If it's not something you do, then you don't need it. So you don't need to go and upgrade this watch to a watch that can store music files. But if you find out that it's something you like doing from time to time, then it's a good idea to, think about the next good watch that you can get that can store music files. So this is just going to be like your movie trailer to see if you really want to go and watch the movie. So it's like you really want to go and buy that upgrade that can actually store music files for you to listen to from time to time. So besides the constant Bluetooth disconnection issue that I have with the watch, I think overall, yeah, I can recommend this watch to people, because if you are not really interested in using your watch to control your music on your phone, then you don't have anything to worry about in terms of functionality. Alright, so here are some other features that come with the watch. I have them down written on my phone because my head doesn't store stuff anymore. Alright, so you have the double tap to wake feature, but it only works a few seconds after the screen goes off. If the screen is off for too long, double tap to wake doesn't work, so you have to manually press the power button for it to work. It's a nice feature. Maybe you try to turn on your watch to see the time, but you forgot to check the time, so you just double tap the watch to see the time. There's also the raise to wake feature, where you just lift up your wrist and the watch lights up, and immediately you put your hand down, the screen goes off. There's the security mode, so that whenever you remove the watch from your wrist, or if the watch detects that it is no longer attached to your wrist, it's going to lock itself. So for anybody to access the watch or view notifications, they'll have to input the password. You can also cover the watch to turn off the screen. This is a good way to quickly turn off the watch. It is something I use all the time. If I just check the time and I'm done, I just cover the watch so it dies. And finally, you have a flashlight. I think those are the other features that I think they are worth mentioning. Alright, so let's talk about the battery. And this is the part where the watch actually struggles, oddly enough. On the website, it says the watch comes with a 300 mAh battery. And on paper, that sounds good because it can hold up for 7 days. But from my use so far, on the first day, I believe I charged it to 100%. I know that I did. I started using the watch at 10 a.m. and when I ended the day, the watch was at 75%. I was very confused. That may seem like normal stuff to you, especially if you haven't used an Oraimo watch before. But most of the watches that I've used, I think the lowest that I've gotten after almost 12 hours was 86%. But with this one, it was getting to 75%. So that day I felt like, okay, maybe I did not charge it fully. I just felt like maybe I made a mistake in the charging process. So I just charged it again to get to 100%. And then the next day I tried it again and I got like 73%. And that was when I knew that, okay, this watch cannot do 7 days. That is what Oraimo put on the website, that the watch can do 7 days with just a single charge. But from my experience, it doesn't work that way. Maybe it's because I have a bad one. Maybe this one is defective, but with what I'm saying so far, 7 days will not work. Now, I'm not saying that the battery is bad, because most of us are used to charging our phones every night before going to bed. So charging the watch to me is not a bad thing every night. But don't tell us that it can do 7 days when it can't. Look, the Watch 3 Pro comes with a 250 mAh battery. This one comes with 300, which is supposed to be higher. But the Watch 3 Pro, I've used it for 24 hours and I only lost 7%, so I had 93% the next day. If you're talking about battery running out, this one has one of the worst batteries I've seen on an Oraimo watch. But yeah, like I said, we charge our phones every day, so charging this watch to me shouldn't be an issue. Now, will this stop me from using the watch? Definitely not, because charging things every night is something I'm used to. So I already talked about that, so I don't think people will see that as an inconvenience. But I just wish that they didn't say 7 days, because right now I'm even feeling like I got a bad one. So I don't want others to feel the same way, especially people that may not even know that this is a normal stuff for the watch, like it doesn't reach 7 days. But if you're able to get the Watch 4 Plus to reach 7 days with one charge, then please let me know in the comments. Maybe I got a defective one. And just know that I don't use the watch for like receiving notifications all the time, and I don't even use it to make phone calls all the time. Like today, I already made like 3-4 phone calls using the watch, or the watch just notified me. So yeah, I don't use the watch that much. But if you do, then I doubt you're even going to get 75% after 12 hours. Okay, so finally, let's talk about the price. You can get this Oraimo watch currently at around 31,000 Naira. I am sure in the next few weeks, the price is also going to change because of the dollar rates going up and down. But yeah, right now it is around 31,000 Naira. But you can get a 5% discount if you use my referral code, which I'll leave in the description. You just copy the code, paste it there, and you get a discount. So that's basically what I have to say about the Oraimo Watch 4 Plus. I think I am done with it for now. The next watch I'm going to be reviewing is the Watch 2R, and yeah, weird things to say about that one as well. If you guys have any questions concerning the watch, let me know in the comments and I'll try to respond as soon as I can. Thank you for watching, and I'll be seeing you in the next video. Take care and bye bye.